Alright guys, so we got the guaranteed Shamael event going on, and I want to showcase something on Hydra and show you some teams that I've used him in. So this is on the test server, but I'm going to do another showcase with him in the arena after this on the live servers. Now, the arena is a situation where Shamael is amazing, but he's also incredible in Hydra, and since he is so good in Hydra, almost required in Hydra for like earlier games if you want to go full auto. If you don't care about full auto, maybe you don't need him, but he's still a huge help. But if you want to go full auto, having a Shamael is a night and day difference. Now, after this Hydra showcase, I want to show him in the arena because he can do some serious work. Now, this Shamael is built what I believe is pretty solid. We have a blood shield accessory, a necklace, it's HP, but it's given him a shield. That gives him one extra buff than everybody else. Unfortunately, Mikage is giving shields to other people, so it makes the whole mischief tanking thing a little bit weird. However, he's the slowest, so his buffs should stay up the whole time. That plays into his A2 ability, where he ignores an initial 25% of the target's defense, but he ignores an additional 25% for each buff on this target, on this champion. So we have 25%, 50%, 75%, and then we have 125, but it caps out at 100 anyway, so we're fine. So Shamael is ignoring 100% of the enemy's defense. I'm going to give you guys an example of how hard he hits in a non-defense ignore set. Pay attention to his HP, and you'll see what set he's in just a moment. Actually, you may not be able to, but hey, let's see. We'll target any random head. He is void affinity, so let's see what he hits for. 369. He hit for essentially 1 million damage on Nightmare Hydra. Now Sun Wukong, who's built very well, also about 1 million damage. So Shamael with his A2 hit for about 1 million, and then Wukong with his A2 also hit for about 1 million. Now let's go a little bit longer in this run. Maybe let Shamael do his A1 ability to showcase the damage difference. But his damage is actually very, very good. And you can build him slow, which means you can put the better attack percentage boots on him. But I think there's one thing specifically with Shamael a lot of people overlook, and I had to focus on especially because of my Obro team, which is essentially what this is. This Shamael build is probably going to be a very unique build compared to what you see across other content creators' videos. So what I've noticed is with Necmo on the team, he places Leech. However, sometimes the Leech doesn't hit, and if it doesn't hit on the Head of Wrath or any head with reflect damage, and Shamael is counterattacking because of debuffs being placed, he can kill himself. And if you're running a team like my Obro team and you don't have a res champion, well, now all of a sudden your Shamael is dead. You have to reset the run because your core Head of Torment counter is gone. So instead, what I've done is I've put Shamael into a lifesteal set, 282,000 damage from that A1 ability. But with Shamael in a lifesteal set, he's going to be hitting the Head of Torment, whatever head it may be, the Head of Wrath, especially into reflect damage, it doesn't matter. He's going to be hitting those heads, but healing back even if there's no Leech in the team, which is just perfect for him, I believe. Now, let's go ahead and back out of this fight. I got an example of how much damage he did in a full fight. Like I said, this is the test server. He did 3.3 million damage. That's not really much to compare from. 5 minutes, most of it was just talking. But in my full 756 million damage Hydra Brutal team that I ran a while back, Inquisitor Shamael did 85 million, and Sun Wukong did 105 million. Necmo is in curse set, so don't pay attention to his build. But that's a huge chunk of damage. I believe Venus was also in a curse set, so their damage was kind of overlapping. But Inquisitor Shamael did 85 million damage. Now, as far as his build goes, let's see what Inquisitor Shamael was wearing. I think I was at 203.48 is where he's at. So this is the Inquisitor Shamael from that video. That video, he's in a Bloodthirst set. Now, I don't need this much speed on him. That much speed, not needed, because he's there to be a mischief tank, to be a Head of Torment counter, and to do some pretty good damage. If you're somebody who is worried about a more early game accessible build, I highly recommend looking at Shamael as a damage dealer, as a Head of Torment counter, and as a mischief tank. If you can do all three of those things, Inquisitor Shamael becomes an incredible champion. He can do enough damage to free your champions when they're eaten by a head, which is so needed, especially if you're limited on damage dealers. He counters the Head of Torment, boosts the champion in the lead spot. So in this team, he's boosting Lady Mikage. Every time he cleanses a fear, it's boosting Lady Mikage. Also, he has hopefully one extra buff compared to everybody else, which means now he's going to be the target of the Head of Mischief, at least most of the time. Worst case scenario, Mischief steals the shields from the other champions, and then Shamael's the last one remaining. So you gotta be careful if you have Mithrala. She can cast the shields, or anybody with the shields. It could cause the Mischief tanking to be a little bit skewed, but It could be what you're going for either way. So Shamael, there's a ton of different builds you can do with him. This lifesteal build has just been what's most consistent for me. So lifesteal super important, reaction not needed, but lifesteal, get some good attack with him, get some good crit damage. Speed isn't super important. Resistance, enough to resist whatever difficulty Hydra you're doing. And then accuracy is actually usable because his A1 has a chance of decreasing the duration of a random buff on the target by 1 turn. So it's actually pretty solid. So he can use accuracy, he can use all this stuff, but ultimately number 1 goal is to make him survive and be able to cleanse those fears. Number 2 is make him do some damage and mischief tank if you can. Now, I guess number 2 goal could be do damage with a higher priority or mischief tank with a higher priority. If you have no blood shield accessories, making him mischief tank would just come down to having him as the slowest champion on your team, which would mean his buffs would fall off the slowest. It's not as consistent, not as surefire way to make him mischief tank, but it's going to be the best option because, like I said, his buffs are going to fall off the slowest. Now, let's jump over to the arena and do some showcasing over there because he is an insane arena champion as well. So now we're over on the live servers. This is the Shamael build that I'm going to try out in the arena. You'll notice he has no defense ignore sets. Back to what I said before, he is going to ignore an additional 25% of the target's defense. We only need 3 buffs on him. 3 buffs, giving him 75% defense ignore, and then the extra 25% defense initially, totaling 100% of the enemy's defense ignored. Now, with that said, the Masteries, you could go Flawless Execution if you really want to push the maximum damage, but Giant Slayer is the best thing for him in PvE content, and if you're going to use him in both, you might as well just keep it at Giant Slayer. So these are the Masteries that I have on him. Now, let's come over to the arena. Now, with the team that I'm going to use in the arena, I don't have him very fast. He's in enough Stone Skin. He's in 6-piece Stone Skin, so he's going to get it for 2 turns. Doesn't really need to have any speed. Similar situation before, but you will want to make sure that the enemy doesn't have like a ton of strip champions. They're not just going to strip everything you have and then just go crazy. So what we're going to do here is actually let's try it against a UDK. This would be an excellent example. So we're going to actually drop Siphi, and we'll drop, actually, it doesn't really matter, honestly, who we use. I do have Phantom Touch on him, but you could go Cruelty if you wanted to go Cruelty for Hydra. There's a lot of different options. Now, this player isn't very high level, but what you're going to see is how Shamael can blast the UDK the first time, and then the next 2 hits are going to go to somebody else. We're going to go the A3 into UDK just to get Inquisitor Shamael with the 3 buffs. So we have 1, 2, 3, 3 buffs. We're looking good. We're going to go A2. And then if somebody was super tanky, we may have to play Make Believe for a moment because this team is pretty squishy, honestly. But Make Believe, 3 hits, boom, dropped UDK, 90,000 damage each hit. That's some crazy damage. Now, unfortunately, we just dropped down to a lower tier. But let's try this one. The Harima actually is going to be a little bit of a problem because she reduces the defense ignore from effects, from like skills and stuff. But for the heck of it, let's see how much damage he does with the defense ignore being reduced by 50%. Maybe he does nothing, but maybe he's okay as well. Honestly, I'm not really, actually, no, we'll just sheep her. We'll just sheep her and it'll all be fine. So we'll go first on the Mithrala, and then we'll sheep the Harima. And now the Pythion, he's about to be no more probably. I hope. So let's see. Boom, boom. That's crazy. He just absolutely demolishes the Pythion. Pythion is irrelevant. Now, granted, this may not be the highest defense and highest tanky team we've ever gone against. Mithrala places some debuffs. He counterattacks from both of those. She places some more. He's going to send back some more A1s. Not doing the most damage, but hey, it's more damage than nothing, right? Also, with his Masteries, he has a chance to reset the cooldown A2, hopefully. If I don't have that Mastery, it's definitely a good idea to get that Mastery. But here we can just polymorph the Harima again. Now, if you have 2 Shamaels, you could do this back to back. You could have a Kymar as well. Kymar, very good champion to reset Shamael to go into another A2 ability. But now we can just steal Turn Meter. Very good single target champion. If you're working on, let's see if we can do any other team. So there we go. Necrit, he's done. Even with Harima alive, Necrit's out of there. All right, guys, so I found a Taras Marichka team. However, we got a small issue. They're going to be fast. I'm going to be fast. I don't know who's going to be faster. I think my Siphi's pretty fast, but we'll see who's actually faster in this fight. So let's skip to the second one. This is just, the Siphi's in here only for the speed and the chance of actually going before them. Okay, so we do cut in, which is fantastic. We're going to steal Turn Meter. Perfect. And then I will sheep the Marichka just because she has Stone Skin. I'm not getting through that anyways. And now Let's go in here and blast the Siphi with A1 from Shamael. Doesn't do that much, to be expected, right? But the Taras, can I triple hit the Taras and just obliterate him? He's done. He's dead. He's gone. It's over. We just deleted him. So now, of course, I need to actually switch forms and we'll go the A2, stun him. Or I could go A3. It depends on if the Siphi gets a turn or not. What's A2, I guess? They get stuns. We get another hit on the Siphi. Guaranteed turn, essentially. And then steal some turn meter again. When I kill the Marichka, they're going to get their res on everybody anyways. So let's actually just hit Marichka one time. She's almost dead as it is. We just got to juggle them, basically. We don't need to kill anybody yet. I don't need to kill anybody just yet, honestly. So I could go ahead and hit the Marichka. Okay. We're great. Shamael comes in with the A2. Again, we have 2 buffs. Can play some more. That's no problem. One A1 on the Taras. Does 8k. Not too bad. We'll give him a increased accuracy. Not because he needs extra accuracy, because an extra chunk of defense ignoring. There we go. We have plenty of buffs. Duchess, Siphi could all do the same thing as far as giving him 3 buffs. That's all he needs. Stoneskin, oh dang it. I wasn't paying attention. I was talking, I wasn't watching. So, I gotta do this again. I guess we can kill the Marichka no problem though, right? So Marichka's back. Shamael, boom, kills her. Places True Fear on everybody. Gotta be careful though, because that could be a polymorph on him easily. Switch forms. Going with the increased attack. Ally attack. Siphi's erased before Shamael even does anything, I believe. And now, Shamael comes in. He is slow, but with ally attack, it doesn't really matter. And then we just finish it off with Siphi sniping. Damage Siphi apparently is the way to go. Now we're going to skip the battle, but let's see how much damage Shamael did. 219,000 damage, but he was deleting these champions no problem. Now, of course, you do have to build a team around him, but if you're going against teams that are super tanky, that maybe you would have had problems with otherwise, he is a very solid option. He's very good in the arena, very good in Hydra, complete game changer in Hydra. So when it comes to what builds would I use for Shamael? Number 1, Giant Slayer, super, super important for Shamael. Each time he hits, he'll have a chance to proc this. Number 2, Head of Torment counter is going to be just the main thing he's there for, but then you can bring him in for damage as well as mischief tanking. Ideally, you could do both of those. But if you can't, you have to determine, okay, for Hydra, do I need an extra damage dealer slot? If you only have 1 damage dealer, maybe it's Artak, well, having Shamael to help free him when he gets eaten will be a complete game changer as well. But if you have, say, 2 damage dealing champions, maybe you just need him for a mischief tank. Bring in a blood shield accessory, let him mischief tank. Keep him slow, he's going to be excellent. But if you don't have a blood shield accessory, bring him in, potentially with some accuracy, bring him in with expectation to have 3 buffs on him at least, and then Relentless, Reflex, Bloodthirst, Lifesteal, all those sets are beneficial. Even Merciless. Though you don't need the defense ignore, 4-piece Merciless can reduce the cooldown on this A2 ability. This A2 ability you've already seen can do 1,000,000 damage plus on Hydra heads. My Shamael isn't even maxed out for Hydra. You can switch into Cruelty or Cruelty Blessing to actually get him to drop the defense on the Hydra heads he hits, help you kill the Head of Torment, which in a way messes up your team because you kind of want the Head of Torment out there, but he does so much damage, it really shouldn't matter. When you're pushing to high damage teams, you're not trying to, I guess, hamstring your team. You're trying to push as much damage as you can. You don't really want to make your champions do less damage, even if it's going to mean you kill the Head of Torment a little bit faster, in my opinion. So guys, that's my Inquisitor Shamael breakdown. These are my masteries. Double check the masteries before. Make sure it's what you want to do before you just blindly follow them. That's with anything though. So with that said, thank you for watching. Let me know where you use your Shamael. What's his build like? And I hope you guys enjoy it. Another thing, quick mention, is you could also just go, okay, I want to have Shamael plus Necrit. Check this out. Necrit and Shamael, we have how many buffs? Let's see. We have plenty of buffs. No increased attack, but he's still going to do really well. So I bet you I can kill the Cardiel through everything. Let's see. Just this stuff. So we're going to do an ally attack, A1. There we go. Cardiel, big chunk taken out of him, just like that. I'm going to buff up the Necrit himself. So Shamael has plenty of defense ignoring. Go boom, boom. Cardiel, dead. easily erased just from the one Shamael. So obviously you could have 2 Shamaels in here. The other one's not going to get the Necrit buff, but you could buff him up the next time, and then it's pretty easy. We're just going to delete the card. Yeah, we could walk this whole team down over time. Have to kill Godseeker though. Let's see if we can shoot Godseeker. We could definitely kill the UDK. I have no doubt about that. A 1 into the UDK, half his HP. Granted, this team I think is a little bit squishier, a little bit weaker. Godseeker drops UDK and Godseeker. So I mean, it's so good. He's a great champion for the arena as well as for Hydra. But if you don't have the voids, it is what it is, right? But guys, best of luck. If you have the voids, he's a champion worth considering. And with that said, hope you guys enjoy it. Hope the arena insight gives you a bit of a different approach for him and let you think about some other stuff. If you're going for his soul, 5-star soul, best of luck. He's a good champion, worth having the soul for, but I wouldn't stress about this too much. He's not a champion who you have to have a soul for him to be super effective, in my opinion. So guys, thank you for watching. Appreciate you all, and I'll catch you in the next one.